Okay, today I'm going to show you how to do some different edits to your final abstract images. So the first thing you are going to want to do is open up Bridge and sort and rate your images so you can figure out which ones you want to work on for your final projects. I'm going to start with this oil and water shot. Okay, in looking at this, there's a lot of little fine bubbles. Okay, we could have avoided that in shooting by stirring the water first and getting rid of the bubbles. Maybe you like that, I don't know. But first we can talk about this image. First things that you can do, you can crop it, you can rotate it, and then you can adjust some of the levels. And then we could also use our restoration tools that we learned about, or our healing tools, to repair any of the blemishes that we don't like. So the first thing I'm going to do is crop this, okay? Up here you usually have your numbers, right? If you want to stick to a standard ratio, you can do so here. If you want to keep it a square, if you know you want to fit it in an 8x10 frame or whatever it is. Or you could just hit clear and make sure that there's no measurements in here. And what that will allow you to do is freely crop your image any way you like, okay? If you click on this grid icon here, you can change the guidelines that are there. So I'm going to leave it clicked on rule of thirds, and that might help in placing what I want to be my focal point or my area of emphasis. Okay, you don't want to crop too much. Like if I had an image this size, I don't want to go here and say, okay, this is my final image. This will become too small and will become pixelated. We don't want that. So let's say I like that. I'll hit enter, or I can click on my little check mark. Okay, so that's my new crop. Now what I can do is hit Command J, create a duplicate layer, and I'm actually going to create a new layer, a new blank layer, by just clicking on this little icon here. That's the add a new layer. Now I can go to some of my healing tools. So let's say I want to use my spot healing brush, which is one of the easiest ones to use, especially for any of these little blemishes. I'm going to make sure that sample all layers is checked off, and that way what I'm doing is I'm actually creating all of the repairs in layer 2. And actually, while I'm thinking about it, I will rename that layer. Now Control plus on your keyboard, Command, sorry. Command plus on the keyboard, and again your bracket keys can change the size of your brush, and then you can begin to get rid of those blemishes. So yeah, there's a lot of bubbles on this image, and it will take some time to get rid of them, but it will be worth it in the end because your image will look fantastic. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time doing that, but you can see how that works. Your spot healing brush is probably going to be the most powerful in this assignment. You can also try the patch tool, but you want to make sure. Oh, patch tool, I can't do the other way. Never mind. Don't use patch tool. Stick with spot healing. If you wanted to do the patch tool, you'd have to be in your layer here. But again, spot healing is probably going to be all you really need. Also, before you really start editing, make sure your image is actually in focus. If it's not in focus, it's not going to be pretty. Okay, so let me just fix this. Okay. So now let's say I've fixed my image. I'm happy. I got rid of all my little bubbles. Okay. And you can see how that looks in this bubble. Okay. Now I could add some adjustment layers. I could either click here on levels, or again, you have your adjustment panel right up here. You can experiment with brightness and contrast, although you get more control with levels. You can also play with hue, saturation, color balance. You can make it a black and white image if you want to. It's totally up to you. These are abstract images. It's all about design. So I'm first going to click on levels. I'm going to scooch my levels a little bit over. And you want the contrast to look good. You don't want it to be too light. You don't want it to be too dark. I could make it more on the pink side if I wanted to. I could make it a little bit, add some blues, get some purples in there. Okay. Again, turn it just totally black and white if you wanted to. Totally up to you. Okay. So now let's say I'm really happy with this image thus far. So what I can actually do is hit Shift, select my repair layer and my layer 1, press Command J, that will duplicate both of those, and then Command E, and that will merge them. Okay, so this is my layer. I blended my repairs, okay, but my levels and stuff are still separate. You can decide to also merge those, but that's totally up to you. So now what I can do is actually hit Command J again, and I could change the blend mode. And that will give you some different things going on as well, if you want to try that. Now you can also go up to Edit, Transform. You could rotate it 180 degrees or flip it and see what happens. Okay, and now it looks totally different. And again, you could change the blend mode to get it to look the way you want. Okay, you could also, instead of doing it that way, you can also go to Image, Rotation, and not Image, sorry, Edit, Transform, and then flip it horizontal. And then you'll sort of get this symmetrical thing happening. Again, totally up to you. So that's one option. You can also blend additional images in. So let's say I want to add this image. So I can press Command A on my keyboard. That selects the entire image. Command C will copy it. Where's my other image? And now I can paste that in. Command V to paste. I need to rotate this. And using my move tool, I can put this over here. Again, changing the blend mode. And now you get another totally different image. So you do have the option to add other images as well. Okay, and then when you're all done, of course, you would add your signature and all of that good stuff. Okay, you can also, if you decide I don't want a vertical image, you can also go to Image, Image Rotation, and this will rotate your whole image. So you could say I want it to be more of a horizontal or a landscape orientation. Totally up to you. Whatever you think visually looks better gives you a stronger focal point. Okay? Now, let's talk about this image. It's not perfect, okay, but there are a lot of things that we can do to make this image much better. First thing that I would do is crop out the parts of the background that are distracting. Okay. Again, I would go to my spot healing brush, make a new layer, make sure sample all layers is selected, get rid of those distracting bubbles. Again, you can get rid of the bubbles before you take the shot by stirring the water a little bit and letting the bubbles settle out. Okay. Once you have that all cleaned up, you can then use your selection tools. Okay, because I think that this image would look a whole lot better if the background was black. Okay, so you can try to do that by doing a levels adjustment, but you're only going to get so far before you start to ruin, the image. Okay, where you're taking away some detail from the actual liquid flow there. But that actually doesn't look too bad. Okay, but we still have some weird spots. Oops. And you could try to fix them up. But now that we know about selection tools, right? I'm going to actually hit Shift, Command J, Command E to merge those layers. Okay. Oops, I didn't do that quite right. Sorry, guys. Need to merge that one too. Okay, there we go. And then Command E to merge. So now this is one layer. So now I can use my selection tools, and you can figure out which one's going to work best for you. I'm going to try the quick selection tool. And I'm going to select the liquid flow here. Okay, and now I would go to select and mask. I'm going to put that on a red background so I can see really where the black is and stuff like that. You can try your smart radius. One of the best things to do will be to go in here and refine those edges, because this is sort of like a transparent thing. It's similar to selecting something with hair. So that's going to fix this area here up a little bit. So work your way around. When you're all happy, you like how that looks, I'm going to actually go to select inverse. Now my background is selected. I'm going to go down here to the add a new adjustment layer. I'm going to add a solid color adjustment. And you could do like solid black if you want to, or you could go a little bit softer. It's up to you. Okay? And now what that does is the selection helps create a mask, so the solid fill is only affecting whatever is white in this little thumbnail here. Okay? So whatever is black reveals the layer below, whatever is white reveals this layer. Okay? So you guys can see what a huge difference that makes in that image. And it's not perfect because I'm, rushing. But that is something that you can do to clean up your image. And then what I did was I created this image with the same, by starting with just this. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that really quick. So I'm going to hit Shift, Command J, and then Command E. So now I have this here. I'm going to do Command A, Command C, Command N to open up a new document, brand new blank document, Command V to paste this in. Okay? Now, I'm going to do the mirror image trick. There's a couple different ways to do this. And depending on your image, depending on what you want to be a mirror image, it's totally up to you. Here, even we could decide to rotate your image. Put this on an angle. Okay. You can use my eyedropper tool to pick up the same exact pigment of the background. And then Actually, I'll just do it this way. Oops. Fill that whole background layer in. Okay. And then I can Command E, merge those together. Okay. So let's say I like that. Okay. And I want to make a mirror image going this way. Okay. So I'm going to go to Image, Canvas Size. And I'm going left to right. I'm going to expand it left to right. So the first thing I'm going to do is expand the width by 100%, not inches, percent. I'm going to make sure relative is clicked and make sure that my anchor point is in the middle. I don't want it up here. I don't want it down here. I want it right in the middle. And then we're going to click OK. Okay. Now I'm going to go to View, New Guide. I want my guide to be going up and down, so it's a vertical guide, and I'm going to do that at 50%. So it's going to be right smack in the middle of this entire canvas size. Click on my Move tool, and I'm going to scooch this over to where I want the mirror image to be. And now you see these hot pink lines that kind of line up. I know if I move it down here, they're not there because it's not lined up with the edge of the canvas. So if that looks good to you, you could also decide to do the mirror image this way. It's up to you. But I'm going to do it this way. Okay. And now I'm going to select just the part of the image that I need to duplicate. So I'm going to press Command on my keyboard. And then I'm going to click on the little icon here, the little thumbnail. Okay. And now you can see the marching ants go around just what is in that layer, like the actual object, not the transparent stuff around it. But I don't need this part between the blue guide and the edge here selected. So I'm going to go to Select, Transform Selection. I'm going to pull this little handle over until I see a little pink line that tells me it's lined up with that guide I made. So you can see the pink line appears. Bam, good to go. Okay, now I'm going to hit Command J and duplicate that. Oh, first I have to hit check mark. Sorry. Now Command J. Okay, and now I have that duplicated exactly the way I want it. Now I'm going to transform layer 2. I'm going to go to Edit, Free Transform. You can also hit Command T on your keyboard. This little middle thing here is the point where you want to move it around. So I'm going to actually line that up right here where my original guide was. Okay, and that's what it's going to flip it around. And then I go to Edit Transform again. And I'm going to go do Flip Vertical. Nope. I always pick the wrong one. Transform, Flip Horizontal. There we go. Okay? And it's as simple as that. Done. Mirror image. Now I can go to Image Trim. And I'm going to get rid of transparent pixels. Make sure top, bottom, left, and right are checked. Hit OK. And it's going to get rid of the nonsense on the side. And I can also go to View Clear Guide. And that is what my image looks like. Okay? And you can do all kinds of different things to this too. So here, I actually ended up doing it twice, doing the mirror image twice. There, that's what that looks like. But on one of them, I changed the blend mode to, what was it that looked good? Soft light. So it almost looks like a reflection, sort of. And, so there's a lot of different things you can do using any of the skills that you should know in Photoshop, from cropping to selections to healing to all of the adjustments.